I recently sat down with 5 different founders who built 7-figure businesses without VC money and without burning out. And from a founder who was a Google employee to a founder who was a deep learning researcher, they all shared similar patterns for their success. And today I'm giving you the 5 lessons that they shared to grow their business to over 1 million in annual revenue. Before we dive in, let me quickly tell you who those 5 founders are, because they have very different backgrounds, but that makes it even more powerful that they have similar patterns on their way to success. We have Giacomo, who was a deep learning researcher and built hiop, a software company, to 7 figures. Then we have Daniele, who quit his corporate job to go all in to build a brand for athletes to get better grip in their hands, and now they built like a huge brand that produces the products and also sells it to the athletes. Then we have Alper, who co-founded Flola, which is a software company, and he's an expert when it comes to go-to-market, sales, and marketing. Then we have Oliver, who built a business to 7 figures and sold it when he was 18, and is now the chief growth officer of Faircado, which is like a vintage clothing platform. And Jan, who quit his job at Google to then successfully bootstrap a media company that focuses on producing and publishing content about animals and wildlife. So 5 very different paths, but at the end they shared very similar lessons. Lesson number 1 is don't wait and start selling. When I asked Giacomo what he would tell his past self, he didn't say build a better product, but instead he said don't fall in love with your product. And Daniele literally ran door to door to gyms in Rome with the first version or the first sample box of their product, without having a fancy website or a fancy pitch deck. And Alper first runs 90 days of manual outbound sprints and experiments before writing a single code of automation. And the key takeaway here is that every one of those founders sold their product before they were ready. Lesson number 2 is crack the code yourself first. I asked Alper when is the perfect timing to hire your first salesperson, and his answer kind of surprised me because he said that you cannot hire anybody before you solve the problem yourself first. Also, Giacomo didn't hire a sales team before he did all the sales calls by himself first. Or Oliver didn't hire a social media manager before he did the first 100 viral TikToks all by himself. The key takeaway here is keep it manual until it works, and then hire somebody or automate the process. Lesson number 3 is that being consistent beats being viral. Oliver told me something that most founders don't want to hear. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to show up and do the important things every single workday. Or Jan built a system at animals around the globe where they would post content every single day. And Alper treats his marketing and go-to-market campaigns as sprints that he repeats over and over again and improves over and over again instead of waiting for one magical campaign to happen. And the key takeaway here is that growth can feel very flat for months and then it compounds. And that the founders who win aren't the ones who go viral, but the ones who never stopped. Lesson number 4 is hire for trust and not for titles. Jan has a hiring rule that might seem harsh, but is very effective. If a candidate talks about compensation before the role, then it's a clear no. He also strongly prefers to hire old colleagues or friends instead of people who he don't know. And Giacomo, he hires especially employees who he calls corporate escapees because they want to quit the corporate job. They don't want to be part of like a big wheel, but instead giving like all they got and all their passion into a startup like Giacomo's, for example. So key takeaway here, next time you're hiring somebody, ask yourself, does this person want to own something or does this person only want to do something? Lesson number 5 is protect your energy. Giacomo told me something that I think about quite often, which is that the toughest decisions, the ones that keep you up at night, those are the decisions that you have to do alone, you by yourself. Daniele built his company after 2 years of uncertainty and no salary. 2 years, purely on belief. And Jan realized that in the bad times, it was better for him to step away from the company instead of pushing harder to get through like difficult phases. And a key takeaway here is that the founder journey is deeply emotional, and the founders who got success, they know how to protect their energy like it's their most important asset, because at the end it is. So those 5 lessons show that at the end you don't have to have VC money to build a successful business, but you need resilience, you need consistency, and you need the willingness to do the unscalable things at the beginning. Let me know which of those 5 lessons is the most valuable for you in the comments below, and if you want to get more insights from founders for founders, feel free to subscribe. See you soon.